Hey everyone, thought I would do an update today and show off my Brachy tanks. I've got two Brachyraphis tanks. This is the Rosenei species, the cardinal brachy, and I would say that they're probably my most attractive live bear. They're pretty impressive in terms of just their coloration, and you can see that the male is there, so they're generally skinny. They have a very short gonopodium there, and the females are these big. They're big fish. They're pretty beefy, and they do pick on each other quite a bit. Not so much when it gets to be this many. When you have a pretty sizable group, there's just too many individuals to pick on. But when I was in the 5 to 7 individual range, and they're more active right now because they know they're about to get fed, but they would pick, there was certainly an individual that get picked on pretty severely. So that's one thing to keep in mind. I've gone through a number of iterations on this tank, trying to provide hiding places. I think you need a lot of hiding places for these guys to get rest. The other thing is that they are notorious fry eaters. In fact, I've done an update to this tank where I initially I had a mesh under here for fry to hide under. I had taken it out, and then I hadn't seen fry in so long that I put it back. And so you can see, gosh, it's kind of hard to get down here, but there's just a slight layer of this mesh. It's suction cup to the bottom. There's a layer of the Malaysian driftwood there, and then just on top of that is guppy grass. And so it's a pretty basic tank. There's just a couple sponge filters on the back, and it does very well. I'm just hopeful that I can get some fry. When you've got a lot of individuals, they just consume. The poor fry don't stand a chance unless you give them some pretty good hiding spots. So anyways, that's this tank, and I would say that it's doing very well. It's one of my more successful tanks. In fact, I need to split this colony in half, I think. And so this is one of the things that might be going into the other fish room where I've got a empty spot for a new tank. So we'll see. So my other species, and I'll go up here to show those off. This is the Rhabdophora, the lace brachy, and there's not as many of them, and so they're a little bit shyer. You can see the male right there. He's got that little bit of yellow on the very tips of his tail, and he's got like a lemon yellow on his dorsal fin. They're not nearly as big, at least not yet. These species are pretty slow growing, so it's taken them a long time to even get here. We're almost at a year since I've had them, and they're just now, I think, I'm hopeful to get some fry drop. As I back out, you can see this tank. So now I don't have a mesh on this tank. What I've got is just some large pieces of rock that I've stacked, hopefully for fry. They can find some refuge under here. And then there's just, again, guppy grass and some hornwort. I have only a single sponge filter in the tank at this point. I've got in the back, I've got a box filter that I'm trying out. I've got a couple tanks with box filters that, I guess 3 tanks that have box filters. So I'm just playing around with that, seeing what a difference it makes to have a source of filtration that really gets physical particles out. I can just blow siphon and kind of just, this sucks up a lot of the particles that the sponge filter doesn't do. So the sponge filter does a lot of biological filtration. I'm sure this does biological filtration as well, but it also does some physical filtration. So more in line with what a hang on the back filter would do, but this one actually sits in the tank since I didn't really want to have something on the back of this guy. So anyways, there's only 5 of these guys still. I've got 4 females, 2 males, or 1 male, excuse me. And I think all the females look pregnant to me at this point. So no one's dropped fry, at least not to my knowledge. But they're looking good. I have 1 female, the one that's right there in the front, that's got a little scoliosis to the spine, but I don't want to cull her. I want to see if I can get a few drops, and because my population is so small. Now you will see the male and the female, they do this kind of chase dance where he doesn't really display, he just kind of chases and looks for an opportunity, and she kind of chases him away, and so it goes. So yeah, this tank, you know, neither of these tanks are very complex. There's no substrate, no rooted plants, but they're both doing well. And I think when you have a species that's pretty predatory on its own fry, you kind of have to have something that's not, I don't want to say it's not aesthetically pleasing, but it is different to have a bare bottom tank with a mesh that's hopefully going to protect your fry. But I think for this species in particular, you need it, and I'm imagining for these guys it's going to be something similar. So all right, just a quick update. I hope you're all doing well, and we'll talk to you soon.